Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, we are doing our Wednesday collective reading and energy update. So I channel these collective readings every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to see you here during those times and days if you feel guided to tune in. It's a really powerful energy and frequency during those readings. And although these are live premieres, I have also recently started doing live streams as well. And I feel such a passion for YouTube live streams because it's been such an amazing way to really connect in real time with our community. So if you would like to get notified whenever I do a live, I've noticed that YouTube tends to push more notifications specifically for live streams if you're subscribed. So if you would like to be notified, then you can ensure that you'll get notifications by simply subscribing to the channel if you aren't already. During these lives, I've also been taking questions and answering things that you guys want to talk about during those readings. So it's been such a beautiful way to interact and connect. And I would love to hear from you in the comments section if you have any ideas on what you'd like to see or hear more of on the channel. I would love to create more content that is in line with what you'd like to see more of, whether it's live streams or certain podcast video topics or more videos like this. So without further ado, let's get into some of the messages coming through here. So the first thing I want to talk about, which by the way, there's a lot of ground to cover in this reading because I feel so many layers of messages that have been coming through. There are messages coming through related to love and romance. I've also been picking up a lot of messages coming through that are actually about personal shifts happening on your spiritual journey at this time. So we're going to be talking about everything. And I also feel that many things are actually going to tie together, maybe at times, even in somewhat unexpected ways. I have my notebook full of many notes here. I'm not sure how many of these notes we're going to be getting to. These notes were taken this morning during my meditation and channeling session, which it's been a little while since I've actually sat down and really had a full-blown written channeling session like this where I'm taking a bunch of notes. So let me know in the comments if you do anything like this while you're meditating. Do you keep a notebook by you? Do you write down ideas even just during the day as they occur to you? Personally, I find that writing things down physically seems to really almost open me up to a different kind of guidance sometimes. I think it's something about that physical act of writing that sort of puts me in the flow state a little more easily than even just using my phone notes to type out some kind of message or idea coming through. So I am going to start talking about the first layer of messages coming through. But first, let me take a sip of my lemon lime bubbly. I have a sparkling water here. Let me know what you are eating or drinking during this reading. I heard something about a calm after a storm. So for someone listening, maybe you've gone through some kind of storm recently, emotionally or mentally. I actually spoke a bit on this in my recent live stream where I talked about how a lot of us are feeling a heavy energy, and we in that live stream dove into potential meanings of that energy that was coming up. So I want to talk about part of the reason for this heaviness is the shedding of the skin, so to speak, the shedding of the snake of 2025, if you will. And the fact that we are shedding our old way of doing things. And at the same time, we're opening up to a new way that is actually more in line with what I refer to as an abundance mentality. For some reason, I heard the words holdout, like something being a holdout. And I'm getting that for some of you listening, you may feel as though in many areas of your life, you've learned to fully surrender, and you may be feeling more open at this time, or as though you are thriving or succeeding, or that you just feel a kind of positive energy around these certain areas. But what I'm getting is there may be one specific thing in your life that is seeming like a holdout here, like something that won't quite budge or change, or that feels very confusing or very convoluted. And I'm getting some kind of message about how you could do some reflection on how you feel about or how you approach these other areas of your life where things are working, and apply some of that same mentality to this one area of your life that feels more resistant, because I can guarantee that those other areas that feel like they're quote unquote working, you probably approached with more of a lightness and more of an openness and playfulness. And there's this energy of like freedom around those things. And I'm getting a message for someone that it could be beneficial to look at that area of your life that feels like it's not budging, like that feels as though it's being more resistant. And you could ask yourself, like, how could I approach this area of my life with a similar mentality as these other areas of my life that do seem to be working better or flowing in a more easy way? I also feel someone who is so close to a major breakthrough or solution. And so it feels like in that area or with that thing in your life that feels more challenging right now, the reason in part that it's bothering you so much is because your subconscious can actually sense just how close you are to, I'm hearing, a breakthrough that's going to change everything. It feels like you are right on the precipice of some kind of major breakthrough here that will, I'm hearing, turn this one thing or this area of your life that feels challenging right now into the best and the most thriving and the most exciting area of your life. So I get the sense that you are so close to some kind of breakthrough, and I am manifesting for you that that breakthrough happens for you. If you're listening to this video, I am setting the intention that you receive the breakthrough that you're looking for in that thing or with that area of your life that may be on your mind right now, and save this video and come back to it whenever that breakthrough does occur for you. Because again, I feel like the reason it's so called to your attention, like it's so at the forefront of your mind, is because your subconscious actually knows that you're really close to a solution here. And so in connection with all of this, I also channeled the words, the abundance formula, and also quantum keys. And I thought about titling a video like this, and maybe I will still do a podcast video on this, but I wanted to speak a little bit about this energy of abundance that we are moving into as we shift into higher vibrational frequencies, and how this is making the old way of doing things feel even more resistant, because essentially the place that we're being moved to is a place of greater openness. And I wrote down in my journal, abundance equals openness, because these words very much feel equivalent to me. I know that many of us define abundance in different ways, whether it's certain material things, physical things, certain outcomes. But at its core, abundance is a frequency, and it's a frequency of freedom, of lightness, of openness. And so I'm just going to share with you some of what I wrote down. I don't know why I'm feeling guided to share this in this particular reading. Maybe someone's been thinking about this, or this will be really relevant for something happening for your spiritual journey right now. Let me know in the comments if any of this feels in line with how you've been thinking or feeling, or what you've been going through on your journey. But what I wrote down is, when there are a lot of rules, restrictions, and what I am referring to here as concrete, repetitive thoughts, especially on a timer, meaning thoughts that seem to occur over and over repetitively, maybe like at certain times of day or whatever. When these thoughts are constantly swirling in your mind about what you should be doing in terms of like these rules or restrictions that are consciously constructed, it has the effect of cluttering up your energy field. And as a result, this reduces your level of openness, and it naturally lowers your frequency, because the mind is constantly spinning around like what it needs to be doing or what you need to be doing, different rules and restrictions and limitations. And so essentially it puts limiters on reality in a way. It puts limiters on the amount of magic and synchronicity and amazing moments that you're able to experience in your life, even ideas that can flow to you, because it puts you on a very rigid track where you're very fixated, almost like tunnel vision, on just one way of doing things or one way in which things need to flow to you. And it can cause you to have almost blinders on when it comes to your spiritual vision, so that you can't access ideas or intuitive nudges or like psychic hits that would lead you down pathways that would ultimately guide you to places that would be so unimaginably beautiful or successful or abundant for you, because the mind is closed off to these possibilities if it doesn't fit within its idea of what things need to look like. So in my mind, developing more of an abundant mindset, an abundance mentality, is really about doing our best to break down that rigidity within the mind, to break down those walls and those restrictions and those limitations, so that we become more and more free and available and present to actually clearly hear our own intuition and our spiritual guidance, however you conceptualize that, whether you call it God, the universe, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your higher self. The less rigid we are within the mind, the more open and flexible we are, and the easier it is for us to actually receive that psychic guidance in the moment that actually leads us into a kind of alignment with our highest vibrational timeline. Because when we use these like rules, restrictions, limitations, etc., when we create all of these rules for ourselves in a way in the mind, we are actually limiting our ability to follow that guidance in the moment that would lead us to our highest timeline. And when I talk about our highest vibrational timeline, what I mean is the timeline that corresponds to the highest frequency energy that we can embody in a given moment within ourselves. So this timeline corresponds to that energy or frequency, which means everything that naturally then unfolds on that life track naturally is in harmony with our highest frequency. So the people, the friendships, the opportunities, the career opportunities, the business ideas, the romantic situations and outcomes, how our physical body looks and feels, all of these things are actually in harmony with one another. There's this harmony of all of the different aspects of our lives. And when we embody that highest energy that we can imagine within ourselves and allow ourselves to be led from that highest energy within us, rather than led by the idea of rigid external timelines or deadlines or outcomes, we actually open ourselves up to the true magic of the universe, because often what manifests from that place, from that highest energy, is even more brilliant or fulfilling or beautiful than we ever could have imagined or constructed consciously. And this is because the soul has a bird's eye view, whereas our mind has a very limited view. So even if our mind constructs like the perfect set of rules or the perfect strategy or the perfect series of steps or plans to achieve something that we desire, even in its most perfect plan, it is still short-sighted. The reason for this is because the mind is limited to your current sense perceptions of the present reality, whereas the soul is operating at a much higher level. Like I said earlier, it has this bird's eye view, and this is because the soul actually has access to the entire Akashic records. And I know that term Akashic records can sound really kind of outlandish and mystical, but for the purposes of these readings, I define the Akashic records as the library of invisible energetic information that exists within us and around us at all times. So when we are led by the soul, meaning when we are simply doing our best to let go of our rigid timelines and deadlines and our sense of obligation, our sense of rigidity in a way, like things have to look or be a certain way, the more that we can let go of that and focus on embodying the highest energy possible within ourselves, the more we're tapping into the guidance of the soul. And the soul can help to lead you to create things that are far beyond the capacity of the mind to even envision, let alone create. For example, just as an example of this, when you are tapping into the Akashic records, when you are tapping into this invisible library of energetic information through following your soul, through following the energy instead of the mind, you can actually be led to work with futuristic timelines. So what I mean by that is you may be guided to create content or a service or a product that feels ahead of the curve now, that people may not be ready for now, but will be in the future. So it's like you're creating something in the future that people are going to be manifesting or desiring that they may not even know that they desire yet. When you create from the soul, when you move from the soul, it puts you on the cutting edge of things in a sense where you are like the trend setter in a way, but it's because you have this somewhat unconscious ability through being more open to follow this guidance that leads you to create on future timelines. This is why, like when you're creating with the soul, you may be inspired even to start a business or again, like to create content or art or music or whatever that will be very successful or profound or beneficial on a futuristic timeline, but you may feel ahead of your time. I feel that I'm very much going to reach a very specific audience with this video, and it's going to be an audience of people who feel perpetually ahead of their time or ahead of the curve. But the thing about being ahead of the curve is that ironically, it often looks like being behind the curve at first, and really it can feel that way for a while. You can go months or years as a soul creating with these futuristic timelines, feeling like you're behind the curve when the entire time you're actually ahead of the curve. You just don't even realize it yet. You're creating for the future. You're creating for new Earth, the version of Earth that we are collectively ascending into. You're creating things that people are going to be manifesting or desiring that they don't even consciously know that they're desiring yet. So this video is for the soul who is ahead of their time. And I wrote that down in my journal, which is why I was repeating it here. But I may even put in the title or thumbnail, open when you're starting to remember, because I feel that this video will find you at a time where you're starting to catch an understanding of this on some level, where some part of you is starting to remember or realize that you are creating ahead of your time and that this is the way that you're meant to be doing it. And I feel this video is going to come to really remind you to trust yourself through that process. You're also going to find a severe kind of heaviness whenever you try to revert or whenever you try to go back, because this will also reach a very specific group of souls who are being kept on a specific and rare mission in this life. And when I say you're being kept on that mission, I quite literally mean your mission is so protected that whenever you feel yourself trying to go back or trying to revert into a place or a way of doing things that you've already outgrown, it's almost like your spirit team or your higher self will intervene to stop you. And the way that they will stop you is by making you feel really heavy or resistant about trying to revert. You will feel as though things that you used to do that would bring a certain outcome are no longer bringing that outcome to you. And it's because your divine mission is so protected, the mission that you're meant to be about now. But the thing about living from this energy of abundance that is so terrifying is, well, there's a few things. The first thing is that it takes adjusting to, because you are now operating from soul and from intuition, not from logic and pure action. So you can often wonder to yourself, like, how are these intuitive steps going to lead to the outcomes I desire? But you have to trust the process, because intuition does not lead you in a linear way, the way that like pure action steps will when you're just operating from logic. And so it's a major shift in your thinking, in your way of doing things. But if you found this video, it's what your soul is calling you towards, because your soul knows that when you follow your highest passion, when you embody that highest energy and follow where it's leading you and let your intuition guide you in the moment, step by step, you're going to be led to pathways that will not only lead to all of those things you've been desiring that have felt so stuck for you, but also it's going to lead to exponential positive growth and change in your life. Like, it's literally going to start compounding in ways that are so exponential, it's going to be breathtaking for you. Now, the second reason that it can be terrifying to work with this higher energy is that there is a recalibration phase. So whenever you start working with this energy of abundance, it's almost as though you are switching gears entirely, and there can actually be a temporary drop or a temporary slowdown in that interim period, in that recalibration phase, because you're moving from such a like heavy, resistant energy of control and like rigidity and having a certain set of rules and ways of doing things and being more like closed-minded. You're moving from that to the entirely opposite state of being really free and really open and really trusting of yourself, trusting of your guidance, trusting of your mission and of the universe generally. And so there can be this period of time in the middle where you actually experience like a loss or a dip or a decline. And it's very important that during this time you continue to trust and do not attempt to turn back. Now, what this is kind of reminding me of is someone who is retraining themselves to be able to really be in tune with their body and to be able to understand their body's hunger and fullness cues. And it reminds me of the concept as an illustration of someone going from a mindset of being extremely strict and rigid with their diet, meaning tracking every single thing that they eat and the exact nutritional profile of everything and doing this very rigidly, which of course there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself if that is something that you feel supports you. But I know that for many people, that kind of mindset can become very restrictive and it can feel very rigid. And so I'm imagining someone in this instance who maybe is beginning to feel that it's become restrictive for them. And so they decide that they want to really tune into themselves and hear their own intuition and listen to their own body. And this shift can be scary because they're letting go of this control and this rigidity and this like sense of certainty. But it also can free them to hear their body's signals more clearly when they are hungry, when they're asking for certain kinds of nutrients, when their body needs one thing over another, or needs rest or care over movement, or whatever the case is. And so there can be a temporary period of time where maybe this person will experience fluctuations in either their physical body or how they even perceive themselves. But then once they adjust to trusting themselves and trusting their physical body to guide them correctly, and trusting that they can make the next best choice moment by moment, listening to that guidance, then over time, they can develop this bond of intimate like connectedness with themselves and with their own physical being, and begin to really see themselves as this sanctuary and this vessel that they are working with collaboratively instead of fighting against. And often people then will experience a kind of rebalancing where they actually feel higher levels of energy and more connected to themselves physically, and they begin to feel better because they're listening to their body on a more intuitive level. Now, again, this is just one example, and maybe that doesn't apply for your situation or circumstances, but the illustration is meant to be applied in whatever area it works for you. The idea is that whenever you begin to feel that a certain system is becoming restrictive or controlling for you, it's a sign that your mind and your body and your soul are asking for more abundance in that area, asking for more openness. But again, this requires such radical self-trust, and there is that period of time where there's a recalibration, where it's almost like you have to recalibrate to those signals of intuition. I'm hearing something about receiving intuitive hits. So whatever this is for you, it's like you're being asked to be more open in the moment instead of pre-planning through the mind, like I'm going to do this at this time every day, or I'm going to accomplish this many things every day. It's almost like I feel someone's spirit team is really asking them to do their best to be a little bit more open to those moments of psychic guidance, to those spontaneous moments where you feel in your gut that you're being inspired to create something, or to like put something out into the world, or to take some kind of action, and to really listen for those kinds of signals, and then to take action on those signals in the moment, and to see what happens as a result of that. Because although it's scary at first and it requires huge levels of self-trust, I'm getting that you're going to start noticing that following through those inspired impulses brings such a different kind of return. You may literally see more results from doing that physically, but also it's going to bring a deeper level of internal fulfillment, of connectedness with your inner self. But again, there is this recalibration phase, and I feel this message coming through that if you're finding this video, you're finding it because you are being pushed into more of an energy of abundance, which ultimately is going to open you up to manifesting more powerfully than you ever have in the past. It's going to be a major breakthrough for you. But right now, you may be in the uncomfortable stages of it where you're learning to let go a little bit more and to trust a little bit more deeply. So I know we spent a long time in this video going into the quantum, but this is something I've really been wanting to talk about, and I hope that it connects for someone here listening. If this does resonate for you, leave me a comment. Let me know what you've been going through around this on your journey. I also was picking up something about an algorithm, and I was kind of thinking about the social media algorithm, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram or wherever. And a lot of creators have been talking about how they feel the algorithm has been changing, but I have thought about how even if you're not necessarily an online creator, we're all creators in our life generally, and life itself has a kind of algorithm. If we think of the social media algorithm determining what gets brought in front of our eyes, like on our feed, we could think of our life algorithm as determining what encounters us, what crosses our path on a daily basis. And so whether you are a content creator working with an online algorithm, or you are a non-online creator but working with your own life algorithm, the message that came through is the new algorithm is built on authenticity, connection, and genuine passion. And I truly believe that part of the reason for this is the surge of usage of AI content as well, because AI has an ability to assemble and to organize information very powerfully, like a supercomputer. However, it does not have the ability to genuinely originate information, because if we think of AI as, of course, artificial intelligence, what we possess as humans could be thought of as organic consciousness. And this organic consciousness doesn't even necessarily spawn from like within us in a logical way. What many people don't realize about creativity is that it's all a form of channeling, that we as human beings, yes, are here incarnated, but we are also soul. And so we all have an ability to receive ideas and information from the cosmos, from the higher planes of existence. And this is actually where all creation is taking place. So because of how AI is becoming more widely used on the planet to assemble and organize information, we are going to be realizing more and more the value of our own ability to generate organic consciousness, because again, we have this unique ability that can't be replicated, that involves us being able to receive information from the higher spheres, from the higher planes of existence. And so this is why, as a creator or just as a creative being generally, you may have felt more guided to spend more time like in the flow state lately. Or for me personally, this would be like those sessions where I spend meditating and writing, because for me, that's my time of channeling from this organic consciousness in a way. And you may be doing this yourself as well. It's because we as humans are being pushed more into that part of ourselves, being pushed away from simply assembling information and organizing pre-created information and regurgitating it. We're actually being pushed to really channel that higher consciousness and to use our own authentic voice to express it. And so what I've been finding is that, yes, of course, the social media algorithms are shifting, and people have talked about this even with influencer culture, and how many people believe that influencer culture is going to be kind of fading in a way, because what people are really seeking is authenticity and organic connection. And so the new algorithms, again, either online or in the world, meaning how you are connecting with the people and things in your world, is really going to be increasingly based on you emanating the authentic signal of yourself, creating what feels right for you, what feels passionate for you, and imbuing your creations with that passionate energy that then others are able to feel and respond to and connect with. So I'm looking through my notes here to see what else we can talk about on this topic. So I want to talk a little bit more about one of the romantic threads that have been coming through. I know we said that we were going to talk about romance, but this reading has ended up being super quantum. I know that this is a unique style of reading videos, so I know it may not really resonate for everyone, but I am setting the intention that this video reaches those who may need this kind of information. So I am going to be talking about the romantic situation I have felt coming through. And then if that resonates for you and you'd like more information on it, I'll go deeper into it in the extended reading as well. which I always leave a link to the extended in the pinned comment and description box. And I do extended readings Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays here on the channel. And when you sign up for a membership, either on YouTube or Patreon, you get access to all 3 of these weekly bonus readings every single week. But the message that came through a little bit earlier today was you're, and then in parentheses, still the love of their life. And so what I'm really getting is that there is someone who is romantically thinking of you at a distance. And this is someone who quite literally perceives you as the love of their life. And I'm hearing like the love of a lifetime. They feel as though they have never met someone like you, and they never again will meet anyone like you. That is why they consider you the love of their life. And so I want to channel a bit into this energy. And again, if this is sounding like you and you'd like more on it, you can always check out the extended to get more information on it. So let me take a quick sip of my seltzer water here. Okay, so I'm starting with the energy oracle cards. By the way, let me know in the comments, do you guys enjoy when we go quantum with some of these messages like we did for a lot of this reading video? Do you prefer more of the love style specific readings or a blend of both? I would love to know your thoughts. Yeah, what I wrote down here as well is the tension between who you've been and who you're now inevitably becoming. And I feel that that word inevitably is the key word of that sentence because it does feel inevitable. It feels like this shift within you cannot be avoided at this point, that it's something that you're literally being pushed into. So we have appreciation in the reverse position. What else can I channel here? The garden and the gate. This is someone who didn't offer you the appreciation that you deserved in the past. They didn't appreciate what you had. And I'm getting something about someone in this situation being very emotional or emotionally maybe like volatile. I mean, this could have been, maybe it's how you felt when you were connected with this person. Like there were a lot of extreme emotions coming through. And maybe you felt guilty for this. Maybe it was the other person who was this way, but I feel like someone had emotions here that were very intense and like very up and down. But the thing that this person didn't appreciate about you, if it was you that was feeling emotional, is that your ability to feel emotional is connected to your ability to love so deeply. I'm also hearing something about your loyalty, like you have this profound loyalty about you where once you truly commit to someone or something, you commit to them wholeheartedly. And I feel something about this can make you come off like an intense person in a way. And this quality about you can almost be judged as intense when actually it is really rare and beautiful, but people often don't recognize it for that until they walk away. And I almost feel that this person walked away, or I'm hearing made an excuse. Maybe they made some kind of excuse and they seem to go searching, but my guides are calling it wandering, like they were wandering, looking for something. And you became very self-protective during that time. I feel your walls went up to protect yourself from this person potentially re-entering your life because you gave so much of yourself to them. And I feel that you always knew that if they were to come back into your life and you didn't have those walls up, it would feel very much like disruptive for you, or it might disrupt all of the healing progress that you've made or something like that. But I feel like that's almost what's happening now. Like maybe those walls have gone up, but now this person is coming back in, or maybe they came back into your life recently, or you've been thinking of them or dreaming of them. With the thinking woman, I'm hearing you'll think of them first and then they'll reach out. So I feel that when you find this reading, you've either been thinking of this person and they're about to reach out to you, or they already did. Can I get any more information about this person? Yeah, the Temple Path card reversed. This person's presence right now seems to be contradictory to this higher timeline that you're walking, and you know it. Like, something about their presence, if they did re-enter your life or try to, feels a bit disruptive to you. You know that, at least right now, this is more so a part of your past. But I do feel that maybe there is this desire to make peace. Something between the two of you may have felt very unresolved, or like it ended very suddenly. So maybe you do take an opportunity to have some kind of closure or to make peace with this person, or maybe that's what they're trying to do towards you. I also see this Temple Path card reversed, also representing that this person themselves seemed to get very disconnected from their own highest pathway. Like, they seem to be I'm hearing not feeling like themselves. Maybe that's how they would describe it. Like, I've just not been feeling like myself. I've been disconnected from myself. And they want to re-enter your life to somehow make peace with you. I'm hearing something about not reopening a situation. Maybe you have an awareness that you want to make peace without reopening it right now. I'm going to pull from the traditional tarot. What else can I channel about this situation? Seven of Swords. The Star. I feel with Justice reversed that if this person has re-entered your life, this feels like someone who, yes, they recognize that you are this love of a lifetime. It's like they know that on some level, but there's almost a cognitive dissonance here, because I feel like they're still trying to lie to themselves. It's like they're still wandering in a way, but then thinking of you heavily and like wanting to make peace with you without actually taking accountability. So I feel that right now, this may create a situation where you find peace with this situation or this person, or you take accountability on your end. I feel for many of you, you already did that. You took accountability for your side of things, but they never took accountability for theirs. And there still just seems to be this layer with the Seven of Swords of deception, which I see being like a self-deception within them. Whereas you are showing up here as the Star. Like, I feel this in a very literal sense, almost like you rising to a level of stardom, or rising to a place where you're going to be in the public eye, or I don't know, this feels like you on the rise in some sense, maybe creatively or with your work, or you can just sense this momentum about you. And I think this person can feel it too, which is probably part of the reason they're trying to re-enter your life, because they feel that momentum about you too. And it's almost like they want to be on good terms with you. They want to make peace with you, but I don't feel that they're fully taking accountability for their side of how they treated you or how they underappreciated you. And I'm getting that if you do engage with this person, it's most likely that you felt that about them, that you sensed that you weren't getting the whole story, or that there wasn't 100% transparency and accountability here, even though they do feel that very strong pull towards you. And I feel like you've gotten to a place where you respect yourself so profoundly that you aren't willing to kind of like fill in the gaps there to try and make something work with this person when you know that they're not being fully transparent or fully taking accountability. Not to say they ever wouldn't do that at some point in the future, but that's what I'm getting from this situation at present. Again, this won't be for everyone. In the extended, I will be diving in a bit deeper, although I feel that we're going to be channeling into some other situations and people and energies that want to come out in that reading, as well as further messages from your spirit guides, your higher self, messages for your life path at this time, because I do feel so much is shifting and changing in your life. And at times, you quite literally may feel as though the ground is moving beneath your feet. Know that it's completely normal if right now in your life you're feeling a lot of ups and downs, a lot of vacillating energy. I'm hearing a sign of the change that's taking place within you that is ultimately going to lead to exponential growth, but also growth that is more in line with your soul. But in the process of getting to that point, it may feel like you are sort of on shaky ground, but know that you are supported. I hope that you feel supported here on the channel as well. And if anything here did connect for you, I would love for you to share whatever did connect in the comments if you're feeling guided to it. Subscribe if you resonate with my energy. And of course, the links to listen to the extended are in the pinned comment and description box below. You can also follow me on Instagram at Magnetize Yourself, and you can check out my channeled songs under my artist name Songs by Infinity on Spotify. So all of that information is below in the description box. Otherwise, I am sending you huge amounts of love and light energy. Have an amazing day, and I will connect with you here again in Friday's collective reading.